Saul Canelo Alvarez, Jaime Munguia, 4 de Mayo, Las Vegas, Nevada, T-Mobile Arena, Canelo's home, the face of boxing against the possible next Mexican star, Chris. I don't think many people are giving him a chance, but look, if he's able to pull this off, he has the baton. He's up next, but yeah, it's gonna be very tough for Munguia. We spoke about it last week, but the press conferences did kick off today. LA, we saw Canelo in the same room as Oscar. I didn't watch the whole press conference. It seemed like they were being respectful. I saw some Oscar interviews where he was saying, "Hey, Canelo's the face of boxing. He's the best champion in the world." Giving him his praise. Of course, I'm sure he's happy he's gonna get his cut. He hasn't got a Canelo cut in a while, Chris, but he's getting it now. All respect between Canelo and Munguia, but Canelo did have some words, against some other fighters out there.
Ooh, yeah. Like you said, you a lot of respect shown, in this press conference. We'll talk a little bit about what Munguia did after. I don't think you saw what he did after, but we'll get into it. But yeah, me as a fan, I'm just happy that that Canelo's fighting in May. I know that we always expected Canelo May, Canelo September, but I bought my hotel tickets. I bought my months ago, so I'm like, hopefully he does not say, you know what, the voy a esperar hasta septiembre, and I'm gonna take vacation. So I'm excited first of all that there's a Canelo fight in May. Second, like I said on previous podcast, Gio, hey, I'm trying to see the glass half full. It's two Mexican fighters. Munguia 27, he's coming into his moment. He's been looking much better than he did the first 5-6 years, in my opinion, of his career. So he's looking good. I don't favor him, but I feel like there's going to be a good scrap for. And I think it goes a distance, but I feel like we do see a more competitive fight than what people, are thinking. I think Canelo is, a little bit past his prime, just a bit, and that's just enough to make it interesting. So, of course, one is technically more sound than the other, but I don't know, man. I think that crowd is gonna help Munguia have a better performance that people are expecting.
Yeah, and look, Munguia coming off that Ryder KO. He beat Derevchenko before then, the fight of the year. He now has Freddie Roach. Canelo said he deserves it. He deserves it. He's a clean fighter. He makes weight. He's respectful. Throwing jabs at that other guy. And he also say, hey, he doesn't deserve it. All he brings to the table is an extra 25 pounds on fight night, Chris.
No manches,
Hey, hey, there's been a lot of talk on the other side. Canelo's like, hey, I've never even met this guy. I don't know him. They're talking a lot. When they asked him about all the trash talk, Canelo said, he doesn't deserve it. Doesn't deserve the fight. Another quote that I read was, Canelo saying that PBC only spoke to him about two opponents, Charlo and Munguia, and then that he also added that Benavides needs to speak to Al Heyman and PBC. They only spoke to me about those two guys. So, the Benavides camp saying that they offer 60 million or 55 million or 35 million. They've said all types of numbers, but, I know Eddie Reynoso has came out and said they haven't made an offer. Canelo has stated the same. I'm not sure PBC has that type of money, 60 whatever million they're saying. But now Canelo's, jabbing back.
Ooh, that's the thing with Canelo. He won't say much until like there's a presser. Again, he's a pretty quiet guy. Keeps himself. But when there's an event, like this presser, he'll and people ask the right questions, he'll let you know. Um, Having said that, I'm still a big David Benavides fan, Gio. So, if Canelo gets past Munguia, how people are expecting it, and you saw it, Gio, it was very respectful, not a whole lot of trash talk. I see a Benavides Canelo, presser being all trash talk, all entertainment. David Benavides Senior getting in there talking smack. David Benavides Jr. talking smack. So I want to see that one day. I feel like there's a lot of bad blood there. There's a lot of animosity that that could feed into this fight. And hey, again, you just gotta be happy that Canelo is, fighting, Mexican fighters now. I think he understands now, like, hey, there's nobody left. Tail end of my career. Got to get back to the Mexican people. And again, I feel like it's going to be a much better fight than what people are putting out there right now.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a good fight too. Like I said, I think Canelo might even carry him to a second fight, not only to the second half of the fight. I think he might carry him to a second fight. I think at one point, when he figures out, oh man, I can outbox this guy. I can take his power. He said he hasn't faced a puncher probably like Munguia since Triple G. I think once he figures, hey, I can take this guy's power, I think que se van a fajar, Chris, in the middle of the ring, give the people a show. Canelo doesn't need to do that. Obviously, he's more skilled than Munguia, but I think he'll do it. And I think, the fight, I'm not gonna say it's gonna be close, but it might be like a 9-3, and Munguia might have some moments, might catch Canelo a little bit, enough to sell a second fight. That's just my theory, but we'll see. We'll see once they get it on. Going to some comments here, people were saying that Goat Nello ignored Oscarin and that he said in an interview after that he didn't like him. He thanked Al, PBC, Munguia's Mexican promoter, Sanfer, but not Oscarin.
Damn. Yeah, no, again, I think Canelo keeps it real. I think he talked about Eddie Hearns, with Hearns, and they asked him if he feels like, Hearns is salty that he didn't, get this fight. And Canelo's like, no, Eddie Hearns is my friend. Like we're good. Like he alluded that, he's just going where the money is secure, where there's guarantees. And that, his door is always open, for him to do business with Eddie Hearns. So, for him to say that about Oscar, you could tell he just does not like Oscar, with all due respect. But again, business is business, and where the money's right, like Canelo said, he will go. All he has to do is be professional and be amicable, and you don't have to say much, you don't have to talk much. Just go and do your work and get that check. You vámonos. But again, this is the tail end of Canelo's career, in my opinion. Like Amir Khan said, 3-4 fights. Couple doable ones, a couple tough ones. This Munguia Canelo fight is the young guy coming up against the guy, coming down off his prime a little bit, and it's not the same as Canelo Triple G won. I would say Canelo was much more ready for Triple G in that first fight than Munguia is for Canelo, but it's kind of close to their Gio. So I think we're gonna get a really good fight. I favor Canelo, and like you said, if he carries him, you wait a year and a half or whatever, Munguia will be much more in his prime, and Canelo, more off of it.
Yeah, I agree. And look, talking about guarantees, you see the Canelo promotions all over the banners. You see the VMC. I saw some VMC banners right there at the press conference too. So I'm sure Canelo got his way. He is a face of boxing. He holds that power. Obviously PBC cannot act as a promotional company. So, they got to put someone's name on there. And of course, Canelo taking advantage, slapping the Canelo promotions on there. So, I'm sure he's getting taken care of. And yeah, I did see that clip that you speak of too, of him speaking about Eddie Hearn, saying, hey, he knows we're friends. And pretty much what you said, hey, whoever has the biggest bag and whoever treats me well, he says. So